We bring in Jason Anderson of the Sacramento Bee, one half of the bromance that is taking over King's Twitter here this morning. Jason, that was a rather humorous exchange with you and Buddy last night, but can you that's all in good fun? You and Buddy have a great relationship?
Yeah, hi guys.
What's going on, Jay?
We were just listening to the soundbite, man. It's adorable. Yeah. Okay, I guess the proper question is, are you gonna take him up on his offer to wear his Halloween costume?
No, you're not gonna catch me in. Have you? No, you're not gonna catch me in that costume. Have you guys seen this costume?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Unfortunately,
yeah, we've seen it.
All of it.
Yeah, I mean,
all of it.
You couldn't have fit a pair of Tyrese Halliburton shorts under that costume. He rocked it though. You gotta, he looked great. He's in good shape. Looks like a golden god. I thought he was putting in all that work over the summer to get ready for the season. I think now we know he was getting ready to wear that costume.
Fair enough. I mean, that's fair. I mean, when you're gonna put it out there, you better work.
And look, the costume is phenomenal, and it's a great idea. The problem comes in when he sits down. If he would just stand up all night long, we'd be fine.
Oh man, Buddy, you gotta love Buddy. He's a lot of fun. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall at that costume party to hear what he got from the teammates on that. But that's good stuff. Buddy's always fun. He's a playful dude. Just a fun personality, and yeah, we kind of tease each other back and forth. I when we were on the road, pre-pandemic times, we could kind of keep that stuff off camera more. It wasn't on the Zoom call necessarily, but when you get Buddy, you don't know where the conversation's going to go. You can hear me sometimes just trying to keep it on the tracks, but Buddy, things take on a life of their own with Buddy, and it's always fun though.
I do love that the conversation started with Jason. You should be going first too. Jason, no wonder you go last. That was that was funny. But speaking of last, we go to the final minutes of the game. Given how the final 4 minutes or so were kind of transpiring with the Kings up and that lead slipping away. Were you surprised that Luke kept Buddy out there instead of going with Davion Mitchell instead?
Well, I mean, for me, it's tough to, I think I'd like to see Davion out there a lot in those situations. But, given the way Buddy was going, I mean, he was just playing a great game. He was shooting the ball really well. He was guarding his yard, as Luke likes to say. He was getting it done on both ends of the floor, and so no, I had no problem with rewarding Buddy there, and he ends up coming up with some big plays, big stop on Booker along the baseline late in that game. If Buddy's going to play like that and he's shooting the ball that well, he's another one who's hard to get off the floor. Luke told us this was going to happen. I asked him recently about like his closing lineup, if he had, kind of settled on a group yet. And he said, we think Fox and HB and Holmes will be out there. Those other two spots, I don't know, it could be based on performance or matchups or whatever. We'll see how that evolves over the course of the season, whether he locks in on like a 5-man group or if he really does kind of play it situationally. He can go offense, defense in those situations, which we've seen him do a little bit already. He's got some flexibility there. And he did say that, it could change from night to night. So I wasn't surprised. Buddy had it going, and he deserved to be out there at that time.
Yeah. Another situation in that particular play, heads up by Chris Paul, Monty Williams, all those guys, they had a timeout, did not use it. So Luke couldn't make the change on the defensive end. They said, okay, we got the defensive guys that we want out here. At least they thought so, and ran a play, and Buddy played great defense. I want to talk about the guy who won the game for him last night, literally, at least with the game-winning shot. Harrison Barnes continues his red-hot start to the season. I don't know where he's at now. I know going into the game last night, he was at 28 points a game. He's not going to score 28 points a night, but I, like my partner, believe that this is a 20-point per game score this year. He's going to reach that threshold. Do you feel like Harrison can continue this or anything close to it for the entire season?
Yeah, I don't see why not, man. I think, I think Harrison is a guy who is just absolutely on top of his game right now in basketball and in life, really. He's got a new baby at home. He's just shooting, scoring, rebounding like a madman right now. You look at his work in the community, all the things he's doing there, his work to promote social justice, financial literacy, things like that. And this is a guy who's just really locked in on everything in hoops and off the court as well. Yeah. He's averaging 26.8 and 10 rebounds right now, 2.3 assists, shooting better than 50% from 3-point range. Luke has talked about wanting him to get his volume up a little bit. He wants him shooting 8 threes a game. And, and the way he's stroking it is that's definitely a good number. And if he's going to get those kinds of attempts and he's always, he gets good looks. He takes good shots. He knows when to put it on the floor and get to the basket. And he's just as capable of doing that as he is from hitting from the corner or the wings or wherever. So, I don't see why this can't continue for him.
Jason Anderson, Sacramento Bee, and captain of Team Buddy with us here on D-Lo and KC. Jason, the Kings have not put together a complete game yet. Yesterday, it just so happens the first half was the bad half. What's missing from this group right now in their inability to put on a complete game?
Well, it's funny. I think the answer is focus and attention to detail. That's hard to do for 48 minutes. It was funny. I forget if it was pregame yesterday or maybe the day before at practice, but Luke was talking about fixing things. And, he's like, they've been terrible in the first half, really good in the first half and terrible in the second half. And he said, we're working on it. We're talking about it. We're going to fix it. And then when we fix one thing, there's going to be another thing. So it was funny to me last night that it ended up being the exact opposite. They fixed the second half problem, but only after playing a really, really bad first half. So, I think it does come down to the attention to detail, staying locked in. You just can't waver, they're not a team that is at this point good enough to take, a quarter or a half off. They're going to have to do that for, I'd say minimum 3.5 quarters, and as close to a 48-minute game as you can. They're mixing and matching a little bit with some of those combinations. Haven't necessarily settled in on, I don't even know if they're dead set on like the 9-man rotation. That could still change. So they're figuring some things out, and I think as they figure some things out, they hope that maybe they get a little more consistency to play a little bit closer to a full 48-minute game.
Speaking of fixing things and trying to figure some stuff out, are you worried about De'Aaron Fox at all?
No, only in the sense that I do feel like he's a little banged up already, and Fox is a guy who just he's tough, man. People don't realize how tough he is. Like you see him, in the locker room after a game, and you see him kind of walking around gingerly. The feet hurt, might be an ankle or whatever it is, and he's just always getting dinged because the kid drives into the teeth of the defense, 15 times a night and gets hammered in there a lot of times, and hitting the floor, just running hard. You know what I mean? Like you guys, I go to the park and play for 20 minutes and my feet hurt for, a couple of days. And these guys, they take a pounding. And so I think he's banged up a little bit. I asked him specifically about his shoulder, which I think, might be the most likely explanation for some of the shooting stuff with him. He definitely, in those first couple games, was kind of, favoring it a little bit, that left shoulder. And I asked him at practice the other day if that was bothering him, and he just kind of shrugged it off and said, "Nah, I'm fine." But that's what he would say. I'm not convinced that that's not bothering him a little bit. So if there's anything I'm worried about with him, it's that, and just where, now that they're full on into the schedule, like, where do you find the time to, where do you heal? Like, and that, to me is kind of just a question. If that shoulder's bothering him a little bit, how long is that going to take to start to feel better? And how much does it hinder him in the meantime?
Wow. Great stuff, Jason. Thanks for having some fun with us and that Buddy Hield stuff,
Hey,
man. We appreciate it.
Anytime.
Hey, Jason, real quick, man, where you be hooping at, man? I need to come pull up with you. You said you're out there playing. I need to come pull up and play with my man, Jason Anderson.
Yeah, man, we'll set it up. We haven't been out in a little while, but I'll get my kid. He's 15. He's now taller than me. I might have him post you up a little bit and see what happens.
Well, I don't play no defense no more, so that might be an easy bucket.
All right, guys.